Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're doing well. Let us tap right in and see what storyline Spirit would like to share with you. Collective energy, please, Spirit. Collective energy, what storyline would you like to share with the collective, please, Spirit? Please and thank you. In the central energy, we've got the Emperor, rules, power, authority, discipline, and the Queen of Swords. Unbiased to judgment regarding the truth, clear boundaries. In the challenge position, we've got the Chariot, victory, departure, and the Ace of Wands. New opportunities. Fire. Willpower. Boom. And in the subconscious, we've got the Wheel of Fortune. Isn't it interesting, you know? It's getting very, very close. You know, those who've been talking, actually have to do something. If they're going to try to get around this, but I don't know. Let's see. What's in the recent past, Spirit? Six of Wands. Victory. You've got victory, victory. Public recognition. A promotion. Intentions and expectations. Well, it came out in the upright before I dropped it. So it's the Nine of Wands in the upright. So you've got a victory here, a Six of Wands, and the intention is to set your boundaries. To be persistent. You are persistent. There's no given, there's no relenting, relaxing. You're on alert always. Even though you've got victory out here twice, you're still very much alert regarding the boundaries, regarding what it is you've got going on. In the near future, you've got, there could be like, Two of Wands. Making decisions, leaving home, travel plans, which is causing a painful ending for somebody. Maybe your travel plans, your leaving home is causing a painful ending for somebody. You're leaving. You're in your Chariot here, Emperor. protection, protecting the truth, protecting the Queen of Swords, setting clear boundaries. Yeah. Woo. And the lens is being looked through. Judgment. A reckoning. The thing about judgment and this judgment is that it's not like it isn't like somebody's dishing out new energy. It's like you're leaving, you got the truth, you're setting clear boundaries, and you're leaving, which is and all this that was on you is staying behind, which means that whoever you're leaving has to carry that load. So it's not like they're getting this fresh, you know, from the Emperor. It's like the Emperor is returning to this person or people what it is that they have been putting out in the world. It's like it's theirs to carry. So it's not like, you know, and that's, I think that I posted something earlier, like there's not a single person out there in the world that has the right to treat you like crap, right? But you're not required, or nobody's required to just carry the burden, to take the slaps, you know, and turn the other cheek constantly, and just take it, you know? That's certainly not required. Forgiveness is a release. Forgiveness is taking these 10 of swords and saying, I'm giving them back to you. And I'm releasing you. This is your gift. This is your responsibility. This is your output. And this is coming back to you. I mean, there has to come a time when you stop carrying somebody's burden. Especially if they're betraying you in the process, you know, like you're carrying, not only are you carrying the burden and making life easier for them, but then they're hurting you in the process even more. It's wild. So they're under judgment here. King of Pentacles is in the environment. Wealthy businessman, protective of his success and authority. So you've got the Emperor here in authority. You got this authority here, and we've got the Fool reversed. Hopes and fears. This King of Pentacles made some bad choices. They're under judgment. They made bad choices. They were reckless. And the outcome? The Tower reversed. A fear of change. A collapse. A collapse. So there's a collapse. Which is also here in the near future. You've got collapse. Everything's in deep ruins. Because you've gained a victory, you know the truth, and you're just moving on. You're like leaving. You're weary. So this is where you were at, you know, persistent in your holding your boundaries. And there's a last stand, you know, there's a last stand. You got your boundaries firm, you're leaving, and this 10 of Swords is going to be right here with this King of Pentacles, it looks like. Oh, so you got, yeah, they everything's collapsing, and then you've got the 2 of Cups here, and a new love. And a completion of your 10 of Wands burden. Could be happening very swiftly. It could be manifested very swiftly. Overcoming the challenges with strength. Oh my gosh, overcoming challenges with strength. And you're entering into a wish come true, a 10 of Cups, blissful harmony. And emotional stability. And what you're leaving behind is everything that they wanted you to carry. You know, you're not going to carry this 10 of Swords. You're not in collapse. But whoever this King of Pentacles is, they made some bad choices. They're under judgment. They're under judgment. There's a desperation kind of going on because you are leaving, and there is this sense of, it's a sense of desperation. It's like a scrambling. It's kind of like exasperation. But there's also the sense that there is like the secret final bomb, you know? Somebody here in this 10 of Swords, it feels like there's, well, and maybe that's what I'm feeling, is the judgment here of this thing for the King of Cups. I mean, they really desperately want to put it off on somebody else. But this Emperor is here with the Queen of Swords, and they've got the Chariot and the Six of Wands and the Wheel. They're like out of there. Two of Wands leaving, reconciled and leaving. Observation. So yeah, you okay, so you could be keeping tabs on whatever this is, whatever has had you in this burden. You could very well be like in it, you know. You're not just you're not trying to get away from it. It's like you're sitting there aware of it, holding your boundaries. You're aware of it, and look at it, the look on this face. Expectation. So you've got expectation of these ones, exasperation. And this is what you're feeling. You're not only are you like you're courageous and you're persistent, but you're weary. You're like, and you're just like, maybe this is just normal, you know. It's you've been doing it for so long, it's kind of normal. But you're also feeling this energy. So this could be like an expectation. This person, you might be feeling this person's desire to pile it on you, because that's what they do. Is they offload these wounds, these burdens, and they're under judgment for it. Because they're sitting here in a King of Pentacles energy. But they made bad choices to get there. Creativity. It could be time for music. It could be time for celebration here. The Chariot. Somebody's observing this. They're challenged because you've got the victory, the Chariot. You're forward moving. You're moving away. You're departing. It could be that I don't know how this happens, you know. I've already been through at least one timeline shift, but there could have been more. I mean, one really super obvious one, but maybe that's what's going on. Invisible in the reverse. What was invisible, what was not seen is now seen, and it's observable. You can see it. It's no longer invisible. And you got this victory here, an achievement in the recent past, good fortune. Tribe. You've got a victory over this tribe, or there's a tribe. Well, let's see. You're weary here. Your faith was tested. You found out how resilient you are. Even in dire circumstances, you're very strong and stable. Promise. We're going to have to clarify. We've got a religious promise here. It could be that you have been resilient regarding a religious promise that this tribe, it's like this tribe might have been responsible for protecting you, but instead they put you in this space here and you gained a victory over it. You were very courageous. And you're leaving. It could be that you have a promise. That this is the last stand against religion. Against this religious tribe. You're leaving, and that's bringing a painful ending. They're having a crisis. Everything's collapsing. They've been defeated. You're victorious. You're victorious. Forgiveness for your faith. So you may have been exonerated. Because you're truthful. And you get to leave home. You get to go. You've been forgiven and you get to go. You get to leave. Reconciled. Somebody's under judgment here. This King of Pentacles. We got be you. They're under judgment because, you know what? They may have been pretending to be you. They're under judgment because they have been pretending to be you. They're being disconnected. They're being disconnected. They got the full reverse. They don't know what to do. They're being held back. They made some bad choices. They were reckless and took risks. Everything's collapsing. They got a Tower reversed. 10 of Swords. Everything's collapsing because you are leaving. This is your position. This is your wealth. They had usurped it. And now they're getting disconnected. Competition. They're being disconnected. They took risks. They went in to compete again for the position of you. Your identity, your life, your personality. And it could very well be that they're so desperate. I mean, they're still considering tragedy in the 3D. They want to walk into that body. But they're disconnected here in the environment. So it could be that they're just not able to. Everything's collapsing. It's a stormy time for them. They're under judgment for taking your identity, for effing with your identity, for trying to do it again. Ancestry. Whoever this is, the Emperor is here. They wanted your things. Haunted. They haunted you for your things. Or they're haunted by things. They had an expectation. This explorer had an expectation of your leadership role, of your identity, of dressing up in your energy or whatever, and saying whatever they wanted to say about their masculine self. Whatever. Objectivity. They are playing both sides of the line with a limited perception. There's a change. Because you, sovereign being, who is in service on a spiritual throne, survived. You're seen as, you handled it perfectly. Tensions are high. Tensions are high because this is nearly over. It's nearly over. It's like, there may be like I don't know. It's like somebody wants to do something real big. They're planning it out. They're choosing their target. It could very well be this person here because this has been the target all along. That sovereign spiritual throne there. They're in it's a painful ending. You're boogieing on out of there. I don't think you have anything to worry about at this point. The Emperor is with you. And you've got the Chariot and the Six of Wands and the Wheel of Fortune. There's nothing they can do. They're in a freaking Ten of Swords. They're found guilty. They have been seen as guilty. Because the Emperor is here with the Queen of Swords, they've been communicating regarding the truth. They've been seen as guilty. And you've got a victory over this. The Chariot. You're in your chariot. You're moving on down the road. You've got these, this strong willpower. You're a creator. You could be a musician. It could be time for music and celebration. The Wheel of Destiny has turned, and everything that was hidden is no longer hidden. You can see very plainly these ones are guilty. They don't understand. They don't understand. They're guilty. They've been seen as guilty. Everything that they've done is visible, and they don't have an understanding. You gained a victory over this tribe of religious people. They couldn't sabotage you. They couldn't sabotage you. You're weary, but you've held your boundaries very strong. You're very resilient, even in the worst scenarios. You've got a promise here. It could be that these ones had promised to protect you, but instead they tried to destroy you, and you had to defend yourself, and you wound up gaining a victory over that. They weren't able to sabotage you. These creeps. Shadowy creeps. Dim reflections. They're not connected to the light. You've got forgiveness for your faith. You're leaving home. You're leaving this place. And this is putting these ones into those who betrayed you into a 10 of Swords burden. It's an unexpected outcome. They couldn't sabotage you. And even though they may try still, they're not going to be able to. They're under judgment for being you, for dressing up as you, for pretending to be you, for creating so much rumor and crap about you, for trying to destroy you. They wanted to be you. They wanted to hide you away, trap your essence, and then dress up in it again, having you seen as unworthy. They're being disconnected. You're being disconnected from this King of Pentacles. Escape. They're under judgment for being you, and they want to escape. They're under judgment for pretending to be you. They want to escape. King of Pentacles is being disconnected. And in disagreement, thinking people should understand how they feel. They made bad choices. They were very reckless. Competing with a sovereign being for money and status that they didn't earn. Ancestry. Freaking family. They were competing. They took some risks. They were in competition. They're being disconnected. They're in disagreement. This card says, you made me realize my flaws, and it came out in the reverse. They're playing in the shadows, competing with you, and they don't know that there's anything wrong with it. They don't understand. This is their preferred atmosphere. Everything's collapsing because you're leaving. It was your wealth. It was your position. It was your status. And they couldn't sabotage you this time. The Emperor's here, protecting you. And you've got a new chapter. These ancestors, everything's collapsing for these ancestors. You've got a new chapter here. You've got a victory times 2. Somebody thinks there's unfinished business, and perhaps there is. Somebody's feeling broken and shattered about this, because they missed their opportunity for an inseparable love. They had no love in them, and yet they were trying to steal your position, which is love. But they wanted to gain your position of love and abundance by being hate. They're longing for you. They're daydreaming. They were daydreaming. It was all a daydream. They're overwhelmed and stressed out because they've been found unworthy they've been found unworthy. You are an irreplaceable being. The way you love can never be replaced. And that's the one thing that these people could not mimic. They don't have any love in them. They don't adhere to the truth. And they've been detached from you. And they're hurting from this because the truth has been revealed and you are reunited. Queen of Swords, the Emperor. There's the truth here. And these ones are being held back for lying and trying to take you out for money. So there's desperation, childish liars who pretend, dress up in the energy. This King of Pentacles was dressing up in the energy of this Queen of Swords. This religious person, what, harvested the energy and pretended to be this feminine, sat in her chair, tried to do it again. They're seen and they're guilty. The Emperor is here. Neglect. They neglected you. They neglected you. They're guilty of neglecting this Queen of Swords. This whole tribe of religious people. It could be that they had promised to protect you. It could be that they had made a promise to protect you, but instead they tried to take you out. They went to war with you. And they're guilty of neglecting you. They went to war with you. It's right there. But you've gained a victory of this. The Emperor is here. There's the truth. It's very clear. You've got a willpower. You're all fired up. You're in creator mode. These ones are challenged because they were tempted. They're guilty of neglecting you, and they were tempted by your status, by your wealth, by your presence. So this is, you're moving into destiny. This is, the wheel is turning. Everything that was invisible is no longer invisible. Maybe they can't hide anymore. They may not understand how this happened. They're over here thinking that you should understand how they feel. After pretending to be you, after putting you through so much suffering, wearing your identity, your energy, doing stuff, trying to get you trapped in the shadows. And they were not able to do it. There's no forgiveness. You're not going to forgive this. You're not just going to turn the other cheek and say, okay, let's go through another cycle of this bullshit, right? No, you're not going to do that. They tried to sabotage you and they were not able to. You've gained a victory over it. This entire tribe of religious people playing in the dark. Ancestors. You know, and this reminds me of a people who call themselves chosen, and I just wonder if it wasn't actually like a couple, you know, not everybody, but a couple, and that these ones decided, oh no, we're all going to be that, and they took them out and then just proceeded to like destroy stuff. Thinking themselves special. But this gift, these pentacles and that seat, that spiritual throne, it belongs to this person here. It should have never been here because they were very neglectful. They're not equipped to be in that position. They're full of anxiety. They might want to run away. They're getting anxiety. They want to flee. So there is that exasperation. There is that intense, you know, desire to offload, like they have been in a habitual pattern of. They're an empty vessel. They're full of anxiety. It could be that you have a promise of protection now. You have a promise of defense. A promise that your boundaries are held strong in the presence of these shadowy religious folk who are apparently family. Guilty. Guilty's out here twice. The reflections are guilty. They were pretending to be you. They were pretending to be you. These religious people. This is your seat. You were supposed to be, and a while back I got the message that, what was that? Absolution comes from the mother. Bearing truth and wisdom. Unbiased judgment, honoring truth. They took that and twisted it, man. They took that and twisted it hard, messed up the minds of a whole lot of people, while supremely neglecting this person, trying to sabotage them and trap them so that they could wear the essence and the role again. You've been forgiven. You're seen as faithful. Queen of Swords, truthful. And you reconciled with the Emperor here, and you're moving on. You're leaving home. You're making travel plans. And because you're leaving, it's leaving these religious folk in a painful ending. This religious ancestry, this tribe of religious ancestors, you're leaving them behind, and they're in a painful ending. They made your life hard. Very, very difficult. And now their life will be hard. It's amazing how, and they'll say, they're going to say, oh, disagreements, you should understand how I feel. Well, what about all of that stuff that's coming back to you that you're in disagreement of? You put it out. It's your energy. It's your action. It was never this person. You were pretending to be this person, and you put out all this garbage energy of neglect. Making people's lives hard. And now everything's collapsing. They weren't expecting it. They thought they had it down. They thought they had it down pat. And they're under judgment for being you, for pretending to be you. And they want to escape. They want to escape. Absolution comes from the mother, not this fraud. They were pretending to be the sovereign being, this mother whose position they stole. They were competing, and they could not sabotage her, even though they put her through a lot of neglect and horrible stuff. They're emotionally exhausted. They're tired. They want to escape. They're a shadow dweller. They don't have any energy. They were not able to harvest your energy. They were not able to trap you and dress up in your essence and call themselves a mother, a caring mother. So the King of Pentacles is being disconnected, and they think everybody should be concerned about how they feel, because they're struggling now, or life's going to be struggling. They're not being supported. Nobody's supporting them. They made some bad choices. They behaved recklessly. They took risks. Competing. Trying to put this mother figure, the sovereign mother figure, in the shadows, and they could not do it. Then maybe they were trying to get out of the shadows, because that's the area that they play in. They wanted her in the dark while they came out, but they couldn't sabotage her. Now they want to escape. The Emperor is here. The Emperor knows the truth. This Queen of Swords has forgiveness. They are faithful. They are truthful. There's clear boundaries here, and they have been really working hard, holding their own against this tribe of religious ancestors. There's a promise here. A whole freaking tribe. You got a new chapter. Everything's collapsing for them. Everything's collapsing for these people who tarnished your name, who worked so diligently to trap you in the shadows and to take your position while you suffered. They're looking for an exit plan. Yeah, there's a new chapter here. So the ancestors, whoever did this tribe of religious ancestors, they've been found guilty ×2 for neglecting you, for being tempted by this snake. There is a new chapter here. They're looking for an exit plan. They were playing games at love. They were playing with love. And now they need an exit plan. Because they don't get to take part in your new chapter. And everything is in ruins. Everything you don't need is falling away. Everything that they didn't earn, everything that was not theirs, it belonged to this Queen of Swords. That was hers. And she's got a victory here. She's with the Emperor. The Emperor could be, well, obviously, he's one with authority. So, everything you everything you no longer need is falling away. And these people are in pieces about it. All their stuff is shattering and collapsing. They have to face it. They're childish. And you're leaving. You are leaving. You are leaving the dark side. You're leaving this shadowy, shitty mess where people like this dwell. They couldn't trap you here. Couldn't trap you. It could be that you escaped. They were trying to escape. They could not trap you and change places with you. Even if they were to move forward, because this is like the near future, so this is the outcome. It's not going to work out for them. Whatever they do, they're panicking, obviously. The energy is like very like, oh, it's like, oh, everything failed. Everything failed, and everybody can see what they've been doing. And there's no forgiveness here. It could be that people don't understand why, how, what. What are you doing? They don't understand why these people did this, and they're not forgiving them. No forgiveness. You've gained a victory. They couldn't sabotage you. This tribe is in anxiety. The truth is out. They're an empty vessel. They're an empty vessel, feeding on you, neglecting you, wearing your energy, dressing up in your gifts, and using your services as though it belonged to them, as though the Most High bestowed this stuff on them, as though they were the ones who generated. They didn't. All they did was cause a bunch of problems for people. They were seen as neglectful. They're guilty of neglect and of being tempted to hurt people with the shadow stuff. They didn't grow or expand their consciousness. They just got brutal. They just got mean. They got real freaking mean is what they got. They didn't grow. In fact, they reverted. They regressed into brutality. They've lost their soul. They don't have a soul. They're an empty vessel. This religious person doesn't have a freaking soul. They were tempted by the snake. All they had to do was neglect you and hurt you and trap you, and they could pretend that they were this righteous person forever without ever actually having to be that. They could just pretend. The greatest actor of all time, but no, they're not. I never fell for it. I never saw anything holy about these people. Oh God, are you serious? Guilty. 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 Freaking, they're getting hammered. They stole your creativity. They stole your gifts. They dressed up in your energy, and then they did a lot of shitty things trying to sabotage you, to get you trapped in this dark side. But you gained a victory over it, and there's no forgiveness. Everybody can see it. They don't understand why. Why would you do this? It's ridiculous. Oh my, what are you? Blame. There's no forgiveness for them. They got to accept the blame for what they did. They have to accept the responsibility for their own well-being. They have to go away. They have to go to that place that they were playing in, trying to stick you. These empty vessels. They sold their soul. The whole group of them. Trust. I accept that my inner voice will always guide me correctly. They did not sabotage you because you trusted your intuition, your connection with Source. While you were being extremely neglected and then traumatized, and people were pretending to be you, doing all this stuff, trying to sabotage you. You trusted your inner voice, and you allowed Source, Spirit, your guides, your team to guide you through this. And you may have been blind because they took your gifts. They took your creativity. They neglected you and put you in a 9 of Wands burden. Very courageous. Very courageous. And for your courage, you've got a promise here. The Emperor is here. You've got a promise. You are seen as something special, considering all these people came after you. All of them. All of these empty vessels. This tribe of religious ancestors. Empty vessels. They're not limitless abundant beings. They can't manifest on their own. They don't have a soul. They sold it. They sold it, and they're guilty of choosing this space for self. They chose it for themselves, and I think they were tricked. They were probably convinced that if you work with me, we can trap this person here in these shadows, and then you can pretend to be like all this all the time, and it's a great plan. And they're like, oh yeah, we can sex it up, we can drink it up, we can be cruel and mean in our facilities, and we can hide it, you know, all these bad things, and trick people. Things are hard for them now. They're in a Ten of Swords energy. They're having a painful ending. The pain runs deep. There could be deep wounds. They may actually be wounded. And you have received forgiveness. You are seen as faithful. And you could be leaving home or leaving this time frame, leaving this group. This group is going somewhere. They want to escape. They need an exit plan. They were playing games. You've got a new chapter that's like they're stuck here. You're in your chariot. You're leaving. It's like you're leaving. I don't know how that's going to look. Whether it's going to be an actual like sort of timeline adjustment. Maybe you're going to hop in a wormhole or a portal. But you're leaving this place where these people are. You know, I went through a timeline adjustment. I think maybe I mentioned that a little earlier ago. Yeah, when I wrapped my car around that telephone pole. I mean, in one, I had a dream after that. I was in the car and there were two women saying, breathe, breathe. So like on one timeline, the engine hit me and crushed me. But in the timeline that I wound up on, I just got a little bump on my head, and that freaking telephone pole, man. I'm meant to be here. For these times, and it's wonderful. I'm so glad that they couldn't trap me in the dark. See, that accident right there, I was in a bad state at that time. It would have trapped me in that space, but the Most High said, oh no, you don't. And he adjusted timelines and made sure that I stayed in body. So, you know, and it's weird because at all that time, you know, you think, you know, that you're alone because you're being neglected, because you're being hurt. But no. There's always a presence watching everything, watching you persevere. They failed. They failed. Life is going to be real hard for them. They failed. They're in a painful ending. Because you have forgiveness, you're seen as faithful. And you're reconciled. And moving forward, leaving home, leaving this space, leaving this place. In your chariot here, on your horsey. Giddy up. There could be recognition. Yeah, you're as a person of service. You're a being of service. They usurped your role and then put you through extreme neglect, trying to bury you in the dark so that they could continue to dress up in your energy and pretend to be you. Wear your vitality, your life force, your energy. They're under judgment for being you, for pretending to be you. They want to escape. They have no energy. They have no energy. They've been cut off from you, and they have no energy. They're not dressing up in your energy anymore. You've gained a victory over it. They are seen. They're not a limitless, abundant being. They don't belong in that position. They don't have it. They never were it. They never were it. They were jealous because they were part of this tribe. But it's like you were part of this, and it's like you were the chosen one of this tribe or something. And they had no respect or honor for you and the choice of the divine. Choosing you as the channel, as the voice of the divine. Adversity. They're tired. They want to escape, so they're under judgment for being you, for trying to be you, for actually being you and lying on you hard. And they're tired. They're exhausted. They can't bring you adversity. This is really good news, you know, because the energy is such. It's like they want to fight. They want to fight this. They failed. They're in a bad energy right now. And you are here in this energy. So you're feeling like you've probably been in this energy for quite some time. So, you know, I mean, it could very well be that you just are feeling that. I mean, 9 of Wands energy, 10 of Swords energy. So the King of Pentacles is being disconnected. They wish you understood how they felt. They're struggling. They don't feel supported, but they neglected you. They can't change it. They can't make a change. They're struggling. They made bad choices with the Fool reverse. They were reckless in this competition, trying to get you trapped in the shadow side. They were competing for your place in the light. You're a light being. You are the truth. And they're a dark being. They're a shadow. They're an empty vessel doing shady stuff in the shadows, but they wanted to pretend to be you, a person who is of light and truth. They were competing to be seen as you. They can't bring you any adversity. They can't change this at all. They want to escape. They couldn't trap you in the shadows. You gained a victory here with the 6 of Wands. You're also in your Chariot here, very courageous and victorious, moving forward. You're leaving this place. Very soon you're leaving this place. I don't know how it's going to look. Jim Self from Mastering Alchemy called it a trifurcation of timelines. There's like 3 different timelines that are going to be splitting off. Freedom. Freedom. They want to escape. They've lost their freedom. They couldn't trap you in the shadows. So there is a Tower reversed. They're very restless. Everything's collapsing for this ancestry. You're entering into a new chapter, and they're looking for an exit plan. They were playing at love, playing games with love. They would say how much they love you, and then they would martyr you or stick a knife in it or take everything and hurt you so bad because they're misogynists. They hate women. And you just so happen to be a woman of truth with very clear boundaries, and you're very clear-minded, and you know the truth. That's why this position was for you, because you are this being of truth, the absolutionist. Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. Well, Father doesn't, not unless he's this emperor, the Most High. This was your role. This was your role. They haunted you. They haunted you with the expectations of being seen as you, fulfilling your position. You're a sovereign being, and you survived. You're a sovereign being of service, and you survived, and you're coming into your spiritual throne. This is your spiritual throne. And you're seen as perfect. You handled it perfectly. You might be yeah, you handled it perfectly. Perfection. You might be receiving a visit from an absent father, from beyond the grave. Certainly not from this particular set of ancestors. Wow. So you care for yourself. You take care of yourself. You embrace the truth. That was your spiritual role, was to be truth. And these guys got tempted into neglect and horrible stuff. And they were communicating as though they were just spreading drama. Drama, 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 drama. For an arcana leader, you didn't do anything. There's a backstory to this hardship they were doing for entertainment. To be seen as privileged and important. They were jealous of your status. They were jealous of the recognition. They were jealous of your truth and the fact that you could see. You could see where they were going with that. And they took you out and pretended that the truth didn't exist. And they tricked everybody. And the thing that I don't like about this is that they talk about forgiveness as though, you're just supposed to take it. Just let them harvest your energy. Let them mistreat you. Forgive them and be loving. No. They want an exit plan. They were playing games. They don't find it funny. It's not funny anymore. They don't have their freedom. It was all in their imagination. It was all imaginary. They're in doubt now. They're in doubt. They could be in doubt because of your acceptance. You've been accepted. They couldn't sabotage you. You're in reunion. You are here with the Emperor. They're in fear because of your patience, your ability to stay in a happy place, because when you're happy, that means you're on the right path. And you knew that everything happens in divine order. So, they're in a 10 of Swords because the truth is out. The Emperor's here and he's like, oh, what happened? So then you go back through all of the history, the lives within the bigger cycle, all the many cycles within the bigger cycle, and you start looking at the history and you start looking at the neglect. And you start looking at the pain, the shame, the blame, the lack of understanding. They just wanted to punish this person because they could see that they were a snake, and they wanted to hide it. They wanted to hide it. They didn't want people to see it. They didn't want to confess it. They didn't want to do the work to harmonize that within themselves. Instead, they said, you know what, I'd rather be an empty vessel and just F you up and wear your energy. Didn't work. They chose wrong. But there is this energy here, this very, like, you're in your Nine of Wands energy, and they're in a Ten of Swords energy. They're in a failure, and you're in an I'm getting ready to leave, and they're like, wait. So there's this, and you're feeling them, you know. It could be like, it's like, it feels to me like, like a whirlwind of little, like glass shards, and they're spinning, and they're just taking little teeny tiny nicks out of the flesh, right? And it's just like, wait, and you can feel these swords like spinning in this cyclone or whatever. And they're just trying so desperately to stick it to you. And it could be that some of those shards are coming through and hitting you, you know, you're sitting here. But anyway, it's just energetic. But it's not literal cutting, but it's like the sharpness of it. These blades on the energetic field. We got guilty out here 3 freaking times for these snakes, and no forgiveness. Danger. They could be in danger. They could be at risk of an accident. They're guilty. They're feeling the damage of what they have caused here, the pain from what they have caused here. They could be having accidents. They need to use caution. They could be suffering an injury. They didn't grow mentally or energetically. They became an empty vessel. You expanded into truth and light while they were trying to bury you in darkness, and they sold their soul and trapped themselves in the dark, working in the dark, doing all these horrible things, trying to cause you accidents, neglecting you, burying you in blame. You have a vow here. The Emperor is here with the Queen of Swords. You've got your Chariot. You're in control. You're moving forward. You're leaving this place. You have received forgiveness. You've been seen as faithful. You didn't break your vow. They martyred you and tried to bury you, dressed up in your energy, and then created a story, like a legend. But they couldn't get the legend to stick. They couldn't get you burned at the stake. Memory. People don't understand why they did this. Everything that they did is now visible. They were blaming you for their dark shit, but you never did it, and there's no forgiveness. There's no forgiveness. Memory. There's a very clear view of the history. You trusted your inner voice would always guide you correctly, and they couldn't sabotage you. Omniscience. You're an expert. You're very talented. There's a reason that you are in this position. You're very much in the truth. You're very much connected to the divine. Very much connected to the divine. No matter how badly... Where was that? Yeah. No matter how badly they haunted your mind, they really did a number on you, expecting this position. Expecting your position again. But you're like, I'm not going nowhere. You're instructed by the divine. You were instructed by the divine. You did exactly as you were told. It could have been subconsciously. It could have been intuitively. And you gained a victory. They couldn't sabotage you. These empty vessels, this tribe of religious ancestors, are empty vessels. They gave their soul to this snake, and now they're having anxiety. Because they can't, you can't, there's no love in them. They're not relaxed. They have no abundance. They're not an abundant, limitless being. They don't belong in this seat with all of this wealth. They're guilty of playing in the shadows, trying to hurt and trap people there. Or at least this Queen of Swords. They wanted this role again. They wanted to be seen as the one who has the divine authority for absolution based on truth, unbiased, clear-minded, non-judgmental. It's just the facts. It is what it is. And they made a game out of it. A nonsense game. And they were brutal behind the scenes while having all these stupid rules that made no sense. They're not high value. They're not high value. They failed to get your extravagance. They failed to get your wealth, your energy, your life force essence, your life force. This is an unexpected outcome. Things are hard for them. They're in a Ten of Swords energy. You've received forgiveness for your faith. You are seen as loyal. You're leaving this place. They're under judgment for being you, for pretending to be you. They want to escape. They can't bring you any adversity. They're tired. They have no energy. Eternal love. You get eternal love. Forgiveness and faith. You're leaving this place and you're entering into eternal love. Oh, that's nice. After all this war, after all this neglect, after all this horrible stuff that this group of people did to you, you get eternal love. King of Pentacles was pretending to be you. They're being disconnected. They're in disagreement. They're struggling. They can't change that. They're being stopped. They're being stopped. Stagnation. Everything that they've been doing is being stopped. They were reckless. They made bad choices. They took some risks in this competition, but they couldn't trap you in the shadows, and now they want to escape because they've lost their freedom. They've been disconnected from you and your energy, your status. They're stubborn. They're arrogant. They're getting crazy in the cabeza. They're restless. Everything's collapsing around them for this ancestry. You're entering into a new chapter. You're leaving. And they want an exit plan because they were playing games. They were playing with love. They want to compromise. This isn't funny anymore. They were bullying you. They want to compromise with you, who they bullied to the extreme, trying to trap you in hell so that they could pretend that they were a light being. a love being when they're not. They don't even have humor in them. They don't even have joy in them. They're not in a limitless, abundant being. They're an empty vessel. Third wheel enemies. Third wheel enemies need an exit plan. They were playing games with love. And it's not funny anymore. They were obedient to what they were taught. They were coached. They made a promise to their coach to bring stress to your mind, to haunt you, to haunt you. You're having sweet dreams now. You're comfortable. They were daydreaming that they were going to be able to curse you with a sickness. But you're having sweet dreams now, and it's time. It's the scheduled time for those who were indulgent on your name, on your energy, on your title, on your space, to be cast away. Because you're worth saving. And they're bound and confined to their commitments. They want to escape because they've lost their freedom. They need an exit plan. You got a miracle here. You've got good news. You're leaving. You've got forgiveness for your faith, and you're leaving. These ones are in fighting. They're frightened. They're depressed. They're paranoid. They're protesting. Oh boy, they're protesting because you're coming into your family, your marriage. You have alliances who've been working here. They recognize you as the gift. They know who you are. And they don't think the same way these ones do. They have class, and they still have a soul. So these ones are trying to make preparations for an apology. They want to apologize. They want to compromise. They've been rejected, and they're in a nightmare because they fell into the trap of all these rituals. The rituals that they did intending to trap you it's all back on them. It's their work. And that's the wonderful thing about justice is that or at least reciprocation, divine judgment, it's a simple reciprocation. People say, well, they're going to judge us for this or that. And it's like, no, it's a simple reciprocation. You put it out. This is the energy that came out. And was the intention and the thoughts. I mean, if you're constantly playing with death, intending to trap somebody in death, and that's the work that you're doing, and you're constantly spending all of your time here in this shadowy space, and that's the thought process. That's the energy. Yeah, I mean, you could have sold your soul. They could have sold their soul there, and they're like, So that was their home, basically, the comfort zone where they spent all their time. And their intention was to steal your shine. But you, as the person who was rightfully supposed to be in that position, intimately connected to the divine, even though your mind was haunted, even though they had made vows and committed to tearing your mind apart, the Most High still led you to victory. Led you to victory, and it all worked because you're persistent, resilient, and courageous. You've got a promise here. But you know, the great thing about it is you've got a tribe of religious ancestors and all of their third wheel enemies, like everybody that they hired to take part in destroying your reputation, wearing masks, setting you up to be blamed and trapped. I'm going to leave this one here. I hope this clarifies something that you already intuitively knew, and I'll see you on the next one, everybody. Bye.